I reached back out to Kreider and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about maybe getting my license. Like, what do you think? And he just started laughing and he was like, if I had $1 for every time someone told me that they wanted to get licensed, I would be a millionaire. But you would be really good at this.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you're kind of like, you're doing what I want to be doing. Like, cause he has his hands in a lot of different things. He was
Was
doing
he
flips and he was doing some renovations. He has some rental properties, um, buying and selling and etc. So
right?
he's a super like genuine, authentic human being. I love him to death. I love his family to death. He and his wife and me think very, very similarly. And he and my husband are very like similar as far as how they're wired. So we always joke that like this is why
Yeah.
it works so well. But um so I started taking my classes online before we even made the move. And I was taking classes and packing boxes and getting ready to make the drive from Austin to back to Columbus with 2 kids, all of our worldly possessions, my 2 German shepherds. Like we looked like the Griswolds. Like it was intense. And then got back here and we rented a house in Uptown Westerville for a bit because Michael's not from here and I'm super familiar with all of Central
Right.
Ohio anyway, but I knew we had to get into, you know, a select few school districts because there was some stuff going on with Ella, our oldest, that as far as her learning goes. And it was like, okay,
Hmm.
well, we need to get into a district where she can get services. So we rented there while I continued to like take my classes and whatnot, and finally finished in November. So we got back here. We moved here in August. I took the test in November, passed, and then just started shadowing Jeff on every single thing that he did, like all of his transactions and whatnot. For the first 6 months, I literally was just like his shadow. I went on
Yeah.
showings, I went on, closings, I went to new, listing appointments and buyer classes and took a lot of CEs and just tried to soak up as much as I could. And that's what I did for 6 months. And, in real estate, if you're not closing deals, you're not making money.
Mm. Yeah. What was it specifically? Was it just that you saw Jeff's lifestyle,
It wasn't
and
even
what the
that. It
business
was,
was
I think,
bringing
a
it,
big
or
turning point for real estate with me was when I bought my house in German Village. I'm like, I
yeah,
love, like, this is so cool. And like
yeah,
the appreciation of like just fun spaces and figuring out how to make it prettier. And then when seeing what Jeff was doing, but also like our gym space in Texas was also this like dilapidated building that we drove by and I'm like, that's it. And Michael's like, that's what? Like that building is condemned. And I'm like, it's going to be so great. And it was beautiful until the construction around us like choked us out. But I fell in love with like the idea of spaces in general and how
yeah,
you can really make them tell a story and you can make it your own and help other people do that. And I just by nature I'm a connector. I call myself a terrible salesman because I'm not trying to ever sell anybody something, but it's
right,
more just like, what do you need? Let me help you find that. And that's what I'm super passionate about. I like connecting people to other people that they might need. And my clients
yeah.
always joke because they're just like, Kaleig's got a guy for that. And I'm like, I do. I 1,000% have a guy for that. Like, if you consult Google before me, I'm going to be offended. Like,
Yeah.
come to me if you need something. Um, so yeah, I think
It's
that it
in,
was a combination of a lot of things, of knowing that I didn't want to have to go back to corporate America. I didn't want to have a job or a career where my kids were in daycare for like every day, Monday through Friday, and I got to
yeah,
see them an hour before bedtime and then wash, rinse, and repeat. Like that just wasn't what I wanted to do. And I knew that I didn't want to be in the service industry as far as like bartending and serving and waiting tables forever. Like I loved that because of the flexibility it offered me.
Right.
But at the same time, it was just, I didn't want to be doing that for the rest of my life.
Right.
So when we moved back, it was like, okay, this is really a time where we can really figure out something that might work for us. This is a new start, you know, like we had just closed the gym, and I, with the gym, it was like my husband's baby. And, you know, I came to him and I was like, you know, we took a gamble on this for you. And I'm wondering if maybe we can take this gamble for me. And he's
Mm.
like, hell yeah, like, let's do it. So, I mean, we moved back. He started working because he does general contracting too. So,
Okay.
he started working along with a couple local contractors in like the Westville and Lewis Center area for a bit. So that was bringing in money while I, you know,
Yeah.
was soaking up all that I could.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 6 months after I got licensed, I got my first like deals, and I made a goal for myself. I was like, you know, okay, 6 months. So I got licensed right around Thanksgiving. So come June, I was just like, okay, for the latter half of this year, 2019, I want to close 6 deals, one a month. I think I can do that. And I
Yeah.
closed 10. And I was like, all right, sweet. Like, let's go. And it never felt forced as far as like paying for advertising and like
Yeah.
creating different Instagram handles or Facebook pages where it's just my real estate. It was like the reason why I really loved what Jeff was doing was because it was real estate is a part of his life. And
Right.
like, I think that people resonate and want to work with other people that they resonate with, that like, you know, it's not just this billboard on the side of the road. It's a person who has kids, who has a whole history. And
Right.
I joke that I've worn like so many hats in this life. Like I'm a veteran, I'm a mom, I'm a step up to the parent. Like you know, we have a special needs child. I come from a big family. I was an athlete for a long time. So it's like all of these life experiences help you work with people who are making some of the biggest purchases of their life. And I feel like
Yeah.
I joke with Kreider because I'm like, I don't get, he just laughs. He's like, you don't get ruffled. And I'm like, I don't, no one's going to die. Like I've had
Right.
jobs
Right.
where people could die. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, is anyone going to die here? No. Okay. Everyone needs to take a breath.
Well,
We have here are some problems, but let's get to the finish line and we can do this together. So
yeah. And I
that's,
think too, like, yeah, technically, the state calls us salespeople, right? Real estate salespeople. But the one thing about real estate is we're not selling anything, right? We're advising, we're guiding. The house will sell itself, whether it's on the buy side or the listing side. So, I think sometimes real estate as real estate agents, we get that rap of, oh, they're just another salesperson, right? They
yeah.
just want the commission, and it's like if you position yourself um, with that advisor mindset, I could care less about the house. The house will take care of itself, right?
Yeah.
Like my job's to make you understand how to get from A to Z and what's the best way to do it based off of your goals,
Hmm.
of either buying a house or selling a house.
Exactly.
Um,
No, I have a